World War II, computer game, incel, alone, sad, dark, behind computer, in space, on the toilet, but happy. This is good. Oh my God, this is so good. The barbed wire and the forest and the dark, gloomy look of it and the big shadows over his face. Oh my God, it's a work of art. Bo Cohen multiplayer game. Screaming, stuck in the lobby, depressed, happy, zoomer. Okay. That kind of looks like a minion. He's staring at the lobby. This looks way too happy. This is way too happy, this shot. It looks like he's in an elevator there. And this, I can't even make out what's going on. Watching feedback gaming on Twitch TV, having nothing better to do. Let's talk about AI-generated images. So there's a few of them online. I think Dolly, Mini, something like that are online, like online versions. But this is a Discord version called Midjourney. You can join this Discord if you want. Just find the Midjourney Discord, hop into the Discord, go into the newbie chats and type an image, type /imagine, and then you can generate AI-generated images. I thought it'd be really cool for us to show some of the images I generated today, and I'll get you guys to generate images too, and we can do some funky back and forth and cool things to look at. Tommy K in the worst place in the world. Whoa. Whoa. How did it know to make him redhead there in the bottom right? How? I've noticed that AI doesn't do very well when you say a person's name, unless it's like a really mainstream celebrity. But maybe it's gone on Google Images and found what Tommy K looks like and generated it. This actually looks like Tommy here too, but he's got a bit of red hair. How did it know that? That's creepy. The worst place in the world. What is this here? So this looks like a city. Oh my God, it looks like the Berlin Wall. It's basically East Germany. This is basically saying that Tommy K does not like the city, because these are all cityscapes, aren't they? City, skyscraper, city. Grisha getting recruited for the Russian army, regretting everything. Oh my God, that bottom one. That bottom one. It's interesting how it's rendered it as like, they're almost woman-like, these two. Oh my God, look at the little boy here and the soldiers. Oh my God, that's so... Why does everything remind me of Kaiserreich? Kaiserreich has literally put a tumor in my brain. It makes me think I see Kaiserreich everywhere. I like the Yushchenko here, because that's kind of Russian. That's probably where the word Russians come from, isn't it? That one is the best one, that bottom right one. That is so dark and eerie and scary. Alex the Rambler makes hairline joke for 10 millionth time. What do we make of this? I don't understand the tree stump. I don't get that. Are these meant to be like a field of hair? If this is Alex is looking pretty suave, okay? I'll say that. This field here also looks like hair, because it's trying to go with 10 million heads, isn't it? And it's rendering 10 million of them. That's crazy. Dankus, Mimicus, heavy tank session while on snus. Oh my goodness, so it's literally created heavy tanks here. This kind of does look like snus. It kind of looks like weed as well. It kind of looks like this one. This is like a transport vehicle with lots of carts on it, or like a storage, so maybe it's full of snus. It's interesting how these ones look like tanks, but they're not actually tanks, are they? That looks super heavy. And this one just looks like tires. You look really close, it's not actually a vehicle. This one actually just kind of looks snus-like, I guess. Paradox, release, Victoria 3, and everyone loves it. Yeah, come on then. Interesting. It's interesting how it's made a collage here in the bottom right. This looks very Victoria as well. You've got like a pillar and the building shapes. Kind of looks a bit Russian in a way. I guess the Russian characters are doing it. I am getting Victoria vibes, aren't it? Like a Victorian era kind of art. I think that's what it's tried to do. Ginger man with glasses, big beard, German, going bald. Oh, God. I love you, Tommy, okay? I love you, okay? Please forgive me. This guy looks like he's had his hair taken here and just planted on the bottom. Like, it's like stuck on. A toupee for a beard. This is a toupee as well. This has got like a World of Warcraft vibe, this bottom left one, doesn't it? None of them look like Tommy, though. The last thing you see before you die. So this has some crazy Grim Reaper style vibes to it. Are you getting that as well? And this is like almost like a room, but then it's got like wood here. It is Slender Man. It's interesting how they made them so long. And this kind of looks like buildings. So these are all kind of like doorways. So in the most part, it's rendered the three same images here, hasn't it? Kind of very Grim Reaper vibe. And this one's very different, isn't it? It's almost like a different alt-religious version of what death could represent. It has touched upon those Grim Reaper vibes, though, isn't it? Which is a general pop culture reference when it comes down to what the last thing you'd see before you die, the Grim Reaper comes out and touches you, you know? When Stalin takes over and you celebrate not having any rights. So it is gone off Stalin here. You know what this looks like? This doesn't look like actual Stalin. This looks like Stalin from the movie, The Death of Stalin. It looks like the actor. It's really messed up with the eyes here. The eyes are weird. Yeah, I feel like he's not really understood what I've asked for here. He's just generated some Stalins, hasn't it? The most beautiful woman alive. There's a little bit more variation on this one, because this has got like a little bit of a Princess Leia style hair. This one's a little bit different too. And this one's longer hair and longer on one side as well. But generally the face, the lips are identical on each one. And so are the noses too. It's interesting how it's gone for a darker haired lady as well. I thought maybe it would have defaulted to a blonde lady. The Great Replacement. Okay, wow. It's interesting how 4 images are completely different here. This is like a city, and this is a sky. What is even happening here? This is interesting because this is a city skyline here, because this is like an Empire State Building, but this is like a massive statue. I'm getting like Greek vibes from this one, like Greek pillars almost, and these guys wearing Greek robe almost. So there's kind of a traditional vibe happening here. And this one is just, there's nothing to work with here. There's kind of a lot of images like this, like light coming from the sky almost. And I feel like they're very interpreted with life or death or beginnings or ends, for instance. There's nothing to interpret from this of what the Great Replacement conspiracy is. The Communist Revolution fails. Kind of looks like Lenin, Stalin mixed together with a round face. And we have some kind of revolution poster, Communist Revolution path. This kind of sadness fails. It's probably why it looks really unhappy. There's nothing to interpret here what we're looking at, is it? I guess it's kind of looking in a window in place, kind of like looks like prison. I guess you can interpret that. I feel like they've taken Marx, Lenin, and maybe a bit Stalin, and they've kind of created a mix between the three here. I'm getting vibes with all three of them. Because there's no beard here, and there's no kind of head here. Once again, another one that's in a frame that's just up to interpretation. There's nothing to work with that. I'm going to ask for variations of the first one to see what comes up with. Okay, this one is called Agnostic Heaven. So it's just gone with heaven here. There's nothing about this that it's agnostic. This is basically just read the word heaven. Stunning, really. This reminds me of the river in Lord of the Rings. Is anyone getting that vibe too? You know, with the massive statues against the river line. I like this one with the clouds. Some of the clouds look like the shape of people. That is really cool. The only thing that would make it agnostic, as I said before, is that there's no religious symbolism here, is there? There's nothing that looks like an angel or a devil. I guess kind of a little bit, I suppose. Once again, I'm reading the tea leaves here. I'm looking at the clouds. I'm making images that aren't there. But there's no crosses or Jesus-looking figures. I guess you could interpret this as a cross maybe here. Okay, this is the Libertarian driving license. So I can see where it's going with this. It's got like a bit of a passport vibe to it. This one too. I'm getting Papers, Please vibes. Is anyone else getting that too? Because I can see like the passports here and the stamps. And I can see the Libertarian colors going with the yellow and the blue. I can see what it's done here. It's combined the idea of a government ID mixed with the Libertarian colors. Next one is Luxembourg World Conquest. It's interesting in this one here because it looks like a map of the world, but it's all a bit weird. It's kind of like a map of the world in like the year 1000, isn't it? Where everything's just a little bit like, we don't know what's going on down here and what's going on here. However, Europe's pretty detailed. Oh, look at the bottom right one. This looks like a medieval painting. It's interesting when I've gone with Luxembourg. It's defaulted to the Middle Ages and it's not done a World War II world. Next up is Universal Basic Income for everyone. Wow, this one with the field. I feel like I'm looking at a communist poster. Man, I'm getting the vibes of a poster here. This one is, super abstracty. Whoa. It's interesting how when it generates people in mass, it has them facing away from the camera. I guess you could interpret this as that they're all equal now, I guess. That they're similar. But they all look like they're going to work still, because this represents work as well. Next one is the 1%. Oh, wow. This is dark. This is really dark. So this is interesting because these look like people, but they're like faceless. And then once again, kind of abstracty again. Very business because everyone's wearing a suit. So it knows that I'm going down the vibe of capitalism. It knows I'm going down the vibe of rich billionaires, millionaires. So it knows that they put them all in work attire. Interesting how dark this one is and how dark this one is too. But these kind of have a slightly more positive vibe to them. I don't want to go down this negative route. They're all negative, but they are kind of all got like a bit of a negative feel to it. All the conspiracies all become true. Aliens is the route it's gone down here. So this one's interesting. It looks like a person getting abducted. This has definitely got the Grey's eyes, but then it's got the Illuminati triangle. This is interesting too. I feel like this is an interpretation of aliens I've seen as well, with this light bulb head as well. Authoritarian, libertarian. Oh, wow. So this is giving me kind of Nazi vibes. What's with this white block though? It's kind of like it's tried to do a armband with like a political symbolism maybe. And then you've kind of got like masks again. I guess I'm getting the libertarian vibe with the coloring, but overall it's kind of the censored thing, isn't it? Whenever you draw someone with weird eyes or no eyes, it always has this kind of really dark feel to it. I think this is the issue with this AI is having at the minute. It can't do eyes very well. So a lot of the time it tends not to do eyes and just generate like symbols and things. Or faces away from the camera, pretty much. Real fascism. This is giving me a Mussolini, Italy vibe to it. Just think with the head chopped off here, that's really eerie. Oh, wow. And that's got some like fascist symbolism to it. This imagery is so good. It's really interesting when you see communist symbolism and fascist symbolism. In this case, it's generated in a way that we know what communism looks like. We know what fascism looks like. And it's done a really good job of creating images that aren't actual existing ones. However, we recognize them of what they are. It's just so strange. World War II, but Italy wins. So I guess these buildings it's generated here and here have a bit of an Italian look to them. Feel like I'm feeling a bit of Venice here. You fly through the sky here like a victory. What would you call that? Like in the UK, it's called red arrows, where they shoot fire out the back of them and you can make streams in the air. I guess this looks like a victory parade, I guess. This kind of looks like soldiers returning from the war. I can see why it's gone with Italy in this, because there's definitely a bit of an Italian vibe. These tall, thin trees look like they cover, you see in pictures, they cover like the Italian landscape, and these buildings, architecture have got an Italian vibe, but nothing else that's Italian. It's strange to me. I thought as a laugh about throwing a pizza in there or throwing an Italian flag, but it's not bothered to do anything. Anyway, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're into these kind of AI generated imagery. We might do another one if you want one. Let me know. Comment and subscribe.